Okay, so I was able to polar align the mount. Um, Azimuth and elevation errors were less than 10 arc seconds. And I have just come into my little shack here on the porch, and I removed the beta version of CPWI. I did a complete uninstall and reinstalled, or not reinstalled, and I downloaded the fresh official release, which is apparently 2.5.6 from the Celestron website. And I installed that, and here we are. So I should be ready to go. So I'm going to come along and using USB try to connect up, which we did. And I've got a PDH2 service thing. I don't care about that at this point because we're not going to even use that. I'll turn that server off. There we go. Okay, so I guess the question that I have is which one of these techniques should I use? I'm certainly not going to do last alignment. I'm not going to use load alignment. I probably don't want to do a quick align because, well, just because. I can't do a full star sense alignment, but I can do one of the subtext in there. And manual alignment, that one's, well, it's just a little bit harder for me. So I'm going to try the star sense alignment. And by the way, here's my location again, Annapolis, Maryland, and the time right off the Windows clock, so that shouldn't be much of a problem. And we'll jump in. I've already set the indexes where they're supposed to be for the right ascension and declination motors. So they're ready to go. And I'm going to click Ready to Begin. I'm going to hold off on Calibrate. And in fact, it seems that in order to do a calibrate, you've got to have at least a modicum of alignment done. So that's not going to happen right away. And I've already done a polar align, pardon me, out on the mount with the hand controller. Hopefully that's okay. So we'll see what goes here. And here's where things get interesting. I can manually slew the telescope to particular areas of the sky. I can, maybe I'll try that one first. I don't know. I could also try loading in some custom points, which I've done before. I don't want to load, pardon me, when I mean load in, I mean specify them. I'm not going to load in anything off the disk. And as far as the auto is concerned, because of the limited visibility that I have up into the sky, I'm not even going to try that one because I know it'll do a good job of trying to do alignment in the trees, and that's certainly not very good. So I don't know. Maybe the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to try manual slewing. Let's see how that works. All right, so I'm going to, actually I should be able to use my buttons over here. I'm going to turn on a light here just so I can see where the scope is pointed. And let's see where we ended up here, just for grins. Okay, so I'm gonna, let's, there we go. That should be a reasonable first cut. So let's see how the plate solve does. And you can see that we're kind of up in that real high angle elevation which is what I've been trying to specify. So let's see what happens. Okay, that point got in, but I'm just guessing. Okay, so look, so we had the telescope, it's still pointing up here, but after that plate solve, it reported the position way down here. So the bottom line is all those exercises that I went through up to this point were for naught. This is exactly the behavior that I've been seeing. So just to kind of give you an idea of what could happen, or what has been happening, I'll pick another point. Let's slew it about over here a little bit. See what we can get. Now, right now, the telescope is still pointing up near zenith, but the position marker is way the hell down here. So I don't know what's going on, but we'll do a solve. And it came up with another solution, but as you can see, the RMS error is big, and it says pointing error is very high. Well, you know, of course it's very high because those 2 points are supposed to be up here, you know, in this general area. So that's definitive example of what I've been going through for the last several weeks, you know, trying to resolve this issue. But just for grins, let's pick another spot. And by the way, the telescope is pointing correctly. That's not the issue. In fact, if you don't believe me, you might be able to see it out there. It's a little bit hard to see, but it's literally pointing almost straight up. But let's try one more point. Oops. In fact, let's go. I want to slew it around and see if I can get on the other side of the meridian. Okay, that should be enough. And, well, where does the telescope, or where does CPI do? You can see it thinks it's down here, but in reality, the tube is pointing up into this general area. So let's do a solve, see what it comes up with. Well, it came up with another number, but oops, where the heck did it go? Actually, I'm not even sure. Oh, here you go. So that one's way over here. So this is the zenith is right there. So I'm not even in the same realm with these points. And in fact, the pointing model positions is consistent with what I'm seeing up here. So you've got a couple of points there, one over there. But the bottom line is none of those are correct. So that basically completes the sequence that we had talked about. What I will do is cancel this out. Close all this stuff out. I will delete the alignment. Okay, and I'll re-index the mount You have to bear with me. Okay, that should be pretty close. Okay, oops, east. There we go. This is the usual configuration since east is almost directly behind the laptop screen. Okay, so let's go in again. We'll try star sense alignment for the second time. I've got my indexes set. Retry, no. This time let's go for some custom points. All right. So I'll just try to keep it simple. We've got the meridian here, zenith there. I'll pick a couple points on each side of meridian. So maybe a total of 4 points. Like so. And we'll let it rip. And yeah, let's save those. And tonight it's going to be, oops, got to change the date on this little file. Okay, here we go. Okay, so the mount is slewing to that first point. And it gets that, it does that correctly. So it's pointing pretty much exactly. I'm looking at the tube. It's pretty much in the right direction. But as you can see, we're way off in terms of where that point was positioned. And now it's trying to come up with the second point, and this is where things get interesting, or at least they have been. As you can see by the indicator, the mount is moving. And it's moving, and it's moving. And I'm looking at it, and sure enough, it is slewing. And what I've observed is that it keeps doing that ad infinitum until I basically hit one of the stops. And it's just going to keep going like that. And unfortunately, I never it never completes the alignment even with the wrong points in there, and it actually becomes an issue because I don't want that very expensive camera that I've got crashing into the tripod because this alignment is going so poorly. So I'm trying to keep an eye on the mount just to see what it's doing. And right now it's actually right about where it's pointing now is in the trees. It just shows you how limited the space is above the my house. So I'm gonna cancel that and exit. Actually, before I do that, let's look at the pointing model. You know, it got 1 point in there. That's this one, presumably. And this entry for, if you look at the right ascension and the declination, it matches what's showing up down here. So at least that's consistent. So anyway, that's probably going to do it for this evening. I can't proceed because I can't align the scope, and if I can't align the scope, I can't find things in the sky very easily. And to be perfectly blunt about it, I'm getting a little frustrated. I probably mentioned that in the yesterday's video. But I've done everything that I can do from this end. Again, Justin, if you're listening to this, I want to make sure that you can convince me that when I uninstalled CPWI, that it removed everything. I mean, all the things in the registry, any little bits and pieces of memory dust that might be left over that could be causing this conflict. I guess I'm very concerned about this because I'd prefer not to have to buy a new control board for the mount, and I certainly don't want to have to trade in / get rid of my StarSense auto guider. So I'm just kind of at a loss to understand what's going on. And by the way, the laptop that I'm using is a Hewlett-Packard laptop. It's not some cheap off-brand. And I've only had it for about a year, so it's fairly new. It's pretty robust. It's got plenty of memory and a decent processor and good graphics. So anyway, I don't know what else I can do. I've done factory resets on the auto guider multiple times. It hasn't made a bit of difference. Nothing in there. The focuser works just splendidly. The dew heater is doing its thing, and as far as I know, there's the mount power, just FYI, 5.8 watts. Camera is half that, and not much else going on with the dew heater because we've got a pretty good spread between the dew point and the ambient. And what else is there? And that's pretty much it. Logging is turned on. Going up to the mount, configure the mount. These parameters, I presume, are all the defaults. And I'm just guessing that since we reset the mount, I probably have to re-record the periodic error correction system. So I'll work on that later, but that shouldn't have anything to do with the problem over here that we're seeing. I would think. I'm just guessing. So those are what they are, and with that, I've been through pretty much everything up here. Of course, if I exit here, it'll say basically treat everything as if it had been lined, which it hasn't been. So I hope that helps from a diagnostic point of view. And since this is the first thing that I've done tonight, the log should be very small compared to what I sent you guys last night. So I'll bundle that up with the videos, and hopefully this will help you understand a little bit more about what's going on. Anyway, thank you very much, gentlemen and ladies, if there is one. And I hope we can continue the conversation tomorrow. Thank you.